Hey, what's up? This is Matt Dietz, and this is Agency Launch. Do me a favor, send me a text, 208-213-8809. And also check out my course at agencylaunch.net. My course is everything that I've learned in a 16-year career. I have a 4,300 policy agency. I run it with 2 people, and I grow 15% year over year. Okay, we write 100,000 in commercial. We've written 50 life policies 4 or more times. Like, I've got my systems dialed in, and I teach it all at agencylaunch.net. So go check it out. Hey, I got a question for you. Did you know the average American spends 2.5 hours on social media every single day? That's 25% of their free time. That's crazy. You know, these are your clients and potential clients, and you have to be where they are spending time. You've heard me talk about how important it is to be active on social media, but sometimes you need a little boost. So let's talk about how you can up your social media game with Social Jazz. It's a new social media automation tool with content designed specifically for our industry. This does all the heavy lifting for you. You can plan an entire year of content through this platform. It's amazing. It does this by automatically publishing ready-made insurance-specific posts that educate, engage, and drive leads. All you have to do is pick a few topics and a few occasions from their catalog, link to your social media accounts, and you're on your way. Now, Social Jazz is offering my listeners a free 14-day trial plus 20% off the monthly subscription for your first 2 months. Sign up at socialjazz.com/deets and put your social media on autopilot. All right, so today I wanted to talk about something that this one's going to be kind of interesting. I was working with my agents that I coach, and just so you're aware, I do offer coaching for agents. If you're interested in that, just hit me up, send me a text, 208-213-8809, and we have really good conversations about running all the questions you want to ask. I'm here, and I'll help you take care of anything that's you need to take care of, all your pain points and stuff like that. And so he's going through some staffing problems, and I'm trying to get him he has an agency that's similar to my size, but he has 3 times as many staff members. And I'm trying to get him down to staff members so that he can lower his payroll and continue his production. And it's totally possible. I'm convinced that we can do that. We're going to save him $100,000 in payroll a year or so. But one of the things that we came up with was that he bought an agency and he absorbed a pretty large staff, and he is doing a great job. And he's a little worried not worried, but his concern is that the work they're doing isn't efficient enough. It's not really, some of the work maybe isn't necessary, and that's an interesting way to put it, but let me try and explain it to you. I've talked a lot about giving great customer service. It's a really important thing that you have to do. You have to stand out. You have to give excellent service, right? But can you give too much service? Or are you servicing things that aren't really necessary, where if you stopped doing this type of service, it wouldn't impact your retention? Okay, and so the example, I'm going to run you through an example that my district manager told me a few years ago that really stuck with me, because I was really worried about retention and service. I was like, my book of business is pretty big right now, and I'm worried that they don't know me, and I'm worried that they're going to leave and this and that. And these are normal, I think, good thoughts to have, right? Make sure you're doing the best that you can. But what if you're focused too much on retention and you're doing things that are unnecessary, and the things that if you stop doing them, people would leave you anyway? Okay. He said, Matt, let me tell you a story. He goes, he's been a DM for a long time. He's been with the company for 25 years. He said, my worst agent when I was as a DM, the worst one, like, just picture the agent that's never there, never returns calls, never in the office, never does anything. Okay. He goes, Matt, his retention was 84%. He says, what's yours? And I said, well, mine's like 89. He goes, okay. He goes, I want you to think about that. He goes, the worst agent that I have, like you couldn't be worse than this. He was still retaining 84% of his clients. It's not like his book of business was being cut in half every year. His retention was like, it's not like his retention was 50% or 70%. It was 84%. All right. Once you get people in the door, they're pretty sticky, for the most part. Even if you don't do anything, he was going to retain 84% of his business. And mine, where I'm towards, the top of the game, I'm at 89%. It's only a 5% difference. And I was like, oh my God, maybe I don't need to be worrying so much about servicing. And so the one thing that I talked to this agent about is we talked about claims, and this is a good example. He goes, the people in my office are doing claims and they're really holding their hand through the entire process. And it's taking maybe 20 or 30 minutes to file a claim. And I said, well, that's different than what we do here. I said, what we do is we ask the 4 or 5 questions that are relevant in a claim. If it's an auto accident, it's simple, right? Who was driving? What car was it? What's the time and dates? What happened? And where was it? That's it. And then we take that information from the client and we can file it through the computer. And so we go in the dashboard and we punch all that stuff in. We hit enter. And then you tell the client, okay, your claim's been filed. Here's your number. You're now going to be handed off to our claims experts who are going to take care of you. And we're good to go. And that's it. That can really take 5 minutes instead of 20. Okay, so I believe his team was getting on the phone with like the 800 number and like conferencing them in and staying on the phone with them the whole time. And then once the claim is done, then you're done. Okay, so that's just an example of where we've cut some fat. And there were times even where I would tell them to the client to call the 800 number. Now, we don't really do that anymore, but there was a period of time where I said, you know what, why don't you call our 800 number and file the claim? That's why they're there. They're going to ask they're going to ask the questions, and, we're really just a middleman right now. But I don't mind taking the information and putting it in. I think that the client does want us to play that role, and it makes them feel more comfortable and easy. I don't think they want to be passed off to an 800 number. And so I'm happy to do that, but you can do that in 5 minutes instead of 20. Okay. There was a period of time where every time I'd get a claim that got filed through where the client filed the claim on their own, we get an email that says, hey, so-and-so filed a claim, where I would call all of them. Okay. And that's good service. I felt obligated to do that. But now I've built out a system using MailChimp where if I get a claim that comes through from a client, I'll take the client's email and drop it into this drip campaign that I built out on MailChimp. And actually, I don't do it. Meg does it, right? Meg in my office does it. She drops it in there. And then the client starts getting a chain of emails from my office. They get 4 or 5 emails over the course of the month, letting them know that we're here for them in the event that the claim goes south or something doesn't go right. So the first email is like, hey, it looks like you filed a claim. And then you set expectations. Hey, this is an auto claim. You're going to be contacted by an adjuster very soon. You're going to have to get an estimate, and you set expectations on how long this might take and things like that. And then just let them know that you're aware that this happened. And then if anything doesn't go right, then they can call us. Okay. Dude, they never call us. All right. And I've done that. I've built that out. It took me an hour to build out all this stuff, and it saves me from making claims phone calls. Okay. So these are just things that I've done in my agency to be more efficient, and it has not affected my retention at all. So when I was talking to this agent, I said, maybe it's not the things that your team is doing. Maybe it's time to think about the things that you are doing that you don't need to do anymore. Okay. So I just wanted to put that thought in your head. Have you think about doing things either a little bit differently or stop doing certain things if you don't think it's going to hurt your retention. Okay. You can always start doing them again. Okay. You can always fire them up again if you feel that this isn't working. But, I get maybe 1 or 2 phone calls a year from someone that's like, why didn't Matt call me? Out of 100. So it's saving me, dozens of hours of time over the course of the year. And that's a risk that I'm willing to take. And so if I was getting phone calls every week from my clients, I was like, you need to call me when this happens. You need to call me when this happens. We would do it, but you have to be responsive and you have to be kind of agile and you have to pay attention to what's working and what's not. So anyway, I just wanted to put that bug in your ear and start kind of auditing the things that are happening in your agency and start thinking, is this necessary? Do we need to do this? What if we stopped doing this? Would it make any difference? Would anyone even notice? And can I reallocate that time I'm saving into, more production? So there you go. Hey, my name is Matt. This is Agency Launch. Check out my other podcast. It's called Simply Explaining Insurance. Send me a text, 208-213-8809. Get in my community and check out my course at agencylaunch.net. Thank you so much for listening. Keep up the good work.